The galaxy had long accepted one unshakable truth. No single being could alter the fate of an empire. Civilizations rose with fleets, conquered with armies, and fell only after centuries of relentless war. Humanity, the newest species to join the Galactic Alliance, was considered little more than an ambitious curiosity. Their world, a small blue planet orbiting an ordinary yellow star, lacked the ancient technology, colossal warships, and vast resources possessed by the dominant races. When the ruthless Karax Dominion emerged from the dark reaches beyond the Perseus Rift, consuming every civilization in its path, the Alliance believed humanity would be the first to surrender. Entire planets vanished beneath the Dominion's relentless assault. Their fleets blocked star lanes, their machines harvested worlds, and their genetically engineered soldiers crushed every resistance. Within months, the oldest empires that had ruled the stars for tens of thousands of years were reduced to ashes. The Alliance collapsed into scattered refugee convoys desperately fleeing from system to system, while the Dominion declared that every intelligent species would either kneel or be erased forever. Earth became the final target. The Dominion expected another quick victory, but instead they encountered something no simulation, prophecy, or intelligence report had ever predicted. Humanity did not surrender. Cities burned, satellites fell from orbit, oceans boiled beneath orbital bombardments. Yet every attack only strengthened Earth's determination. Millions volunteered to fight, not because victory seemed possible, but because surrender was unthinkable. Among those volunteers was Sergeant Nathan Hale, an ordinary infantry soldier from a small farming town who had never imagined he would carry the hopes of an entire species. Nathan was not the strongest soldier, nor the smartest, nor the most decorated. What made him extraordinary was an unwavering refusal to quit. During the first invasion of Earth, his battalion was nearly annihilated defending a mountain communication relay. Cut off from command, surrounded by thousands of Dominion troops, Nathan refused evacuation after every officer above him had fallen. He organized survivors from different nations, languages, and military branches into a single fighting force, proving that humanity's greatest weapon was not technology, but unity. They held the relay for 6 days against impossible odds, allowing Earth's defense network to coordinate a counterattack that destroyed an entire invasion fleet. Though victorious, Earth remained hopelessly outnumbered. The Dominion adapted, returning with armadas so vast they darkened the skies of entire continents. Governments evacuated civilians into underground cities, while soldiers fought desperate delaying actions across ruined landscapes. Nathan was promoted and transferred to the newly formed Deep Recon Division, whose missions were considered suicide. Their objective was simple: infiltrate Dominion territory, gather intelligence, and survive if possible. Mission after mission, Nathan accomplished what experts believed impossible. He sabotaged orbital shipyards, rescued prisoners from impregnable labor camps, and uncovered horrifying secrets about the Dominion itself. The empire that appeared unstoppable was built upon fear. Every conquered species had been genetically modified into obedient servants. Every commander ruled through terror. Every victory relied on convincing enemies that resistance was futile. Nathan realized the Dominion's greatest weakness was not military but psychological. If fear had built the empire, courage could destroy it. Acting without orders, he led a tiny strike team deep into Dominion space toward the capital world known as Zyros Prime. The journey crossed black holes, unstable wormholes, and abandoned civilizations whose ruins whispered warnings in forgotten languages. One by one, his companions sacrificed themselves to ensure the mission continued. By the time Nathan reached the capital, he stood alone. Captured almost immediately, he was brought before Emperor Zareth, the immortal ruler whose consciousness had transferred between cloned bodies for over 5,000 years. The Emperor laughed at the exhausted humans standing in chains. "You crossed half the galaxy to die alone," he declared before billions watching across the Dominion. Nathan simply smiled. Unknown to his captors, every conversation, every security code, every movement within the palace had been transmitted through microscopic quantum beacons hidden in his armor. While the Emperor celebrated his capture, Alliance engineers deciphered the Dominion's entire military network. Yet Nathan understood information alone would not end the war. The galaxy needed hope. During his public execution, he seized a single moment of opportunity. Breaking free with astonishing speed, He defeated elite royal guards using nothing but broken chains and sheer determination before reaching the Empire's central command core. Dominion soldiers flooded the chamber, but Nathan had already activated the overload sequence hidden within the quantum reactor powering the palace. Instead of escaping, he broadcast one final message across every Dominion channel. "You taught the galaxy to fear you," he said calmly as alarms echoed around him. "Today you will learn what humanity becomes when there is nothing left to lose." The reactor erupted in a wave of controlled quantum disruption that did not destroy the planet but disabled every centralized Dominion communication network simultaneously. Across thousands of star systems, governors lost contact with command. Fleets received conflicting orders. Slave worlds discovered the Empire was suddenly leaderless. Rebellions erupted everywhere. Species that had been enslaved for centuries realized the gods they feared were merely tyrants, hiding behind overwhelming force. Alliance fleets surged forward, liberated planets joined the fight, and Dominion commanders turned against one another in desperate struggles for power. The greatest empire in galactic history collapsed not because one soldier fired the most powerful weapon or commanded the largest fleet, but because one human proved that courage could spread faster than fear. Nathan Hale never returned home. Official records listed him as killed in action, though no body was ever recovered from Zyros Prime. Some claimed they had seen a lone human helping refugees on distant frontier worlds years later. Others believed he had become a legend greater than any living person could be. Children across hundreds of civilizations grew up hearing the story of the human who walked alone into the heart of the most terrifying empire ever known and shattered it from within. Historians argued endlessly about whether one soldier truly defeated an empire or whether billions of brave individuals had merely followed the path he opened. Veterans always answered the question the same way. An empire built on fear can survive fleets, weapons, and endless wars, but it cannot survive the moment even one ordinary person decides that freedom is worth more than life itself. Long after the Dominion faded into history, the Galactic Council commissioned a monument unlike any other. It was not a statue of a conquering hero holding a weapon high, but of a tired soldier standing quietly with an empty helmet beneath one arm, staring toward a distant blue star called Earth. Carved beneath the monument were the words every traveler in the galaxy came to know. One human soldier defeated an alien empire, not because he was stronger than everyone else, but because he reminded the galaxy that courage is the one force no empire can ever conquer. The monument became more than a memorial. It became a destination for pilgrims from every corner of known space. Veterans left their medals at its base. Children placed flowers gathered from worlds Nathan Hale had never seen. And former enemies stood together in silence, each wondering how history could have changed so completely because of one ordinary human. Yet peace, as the galaxy would soon discover, was never permanent. Nearly 30 years after the fall of the Karax Dominion, explorers ventured beyond the abandoned borders of the old empire and intercepted a transmission unlike anything recorded before. It was not a distress call, a warning, or a declaration of war. It was a single encrypted sentence repeated continuously in thousands of forgotten dialects. The gate is open. Ancient archives recovered from Dominion vaults revealed the terrifying truth. Emperor Zareth had not built his empire merely to conquer the galaxy. He had been preparing for something far worse. Thousands of years earlier, his civilization had encountered an ancient machine civilization known only as the Architects. Being so advanced they could manipulate stars like craftsmen shaping molten metal. They had vanished millions of years before the first modern species evolved, leaving behind colossal gateways scattered throughout intergalactic space. Zareth had discovered that one of these gateways was slowly reactivating beyond the edge of explored space. And every conquest he had undertaken was intended to gather enough resources to defend the galaxy from whatever lay on the other side. His methods had been monstrous, his tyranny unforgivable, but his fear had not been imaginary. Within weeks, impossible objects emerged from the gateway. They were not ships in any conventional sense, but continent-sized geometric structures that folded reality around themselves, ignoring the known laws of physics. They transmitted no language, demanded no surrender, and ignored diplomatic attempts entirely. Entire fleets disappeared after approaching them, not destroyed but erased as though they had never existed. Worlds nearest the gateway lost their stars overnight as suns simply vanished from the sky, consumed by technology beyond comprehension. Panic swept across the Galactic Council. The alliance that had celebrated its victory over the Dominion now faced an enemy against which even the Dominion would have seemed primitive. Every military simulation ended the same way: total extinction within 5 years. During an emergency council session, historians reopened classified Dominion records in search of forgotten defenses. Buried beneath centuries of encrypted files, they discovered something impossible: a final message recorded by Nathan Hale only minutes before he entered Emperor Zareth's throne room. The recording had never been broadcast because its encryption key disappeared with him. In the message, Nathan explained that Zareth had shown him restricted archives proving the existence of the architects. Nathan admitted he had chosen to destroy the Dominion anyway, because he believed freedom was worth the risk. "If humanity survives," he said in the recording, "then one day you'll face the real enemy. When that happens, don't repeat Zareth's mistake. You cannot unite the galaxy through fear. Only trust will make civilizations stand together long enough to survive." The recording stunned the council. Instead of rebuilding old empires or creating a new military dictatorship, they voted unanimously to form the United Stellar Accord, the first government in history where every species possessed equal authority regardless of military strength. Shipyards that had once built warships began constructing evacuation arcs, research stations, and defensive fleets shared by every civilization. Human engineers worked beside former Dominion scientists. Insectoid mathematicians collaborated with aquatic quantum physicists, and species that had spent centuries as enemies suddenly found themselves sharing laboratories, food, languages, and dreams. Progress accelerated beyond imagination. Within a decade, the Accord developed technologies that no civilization had achieved alone during 10,000 years of isolation. Still, the architects continued advancing. Every month, another cluster of stars disappeared into the growing darkness surrounding their gateway. Then came the greatest mystery of all. A damaged exploration vessel limped back from the frontier carrying only one survivor. The elderly pilot claimed he had encountered a human drifting alone aboard an ancient shuttle near the edge of architect-controlled space. According to the pilot, the stranger wore battered Earth military armor bearing the faded insignia of Sergeant Nathan Hale. Impossible though it sounded, the man appeared no older than the day he had vanished decades earlier. Before disappearing into a spatial anomaly, the mysterious soldier handed over a crystalline data core and spoke only 6 words. They're afraid of something even worse. The AO data core contained star maps extending millions of light years beyond the known galaxy, along with impossible engineering designs that no modern computer could fully interpret. Most disturbing of all was a recording captured from within architect territory. It revealed countless dormant gateways stretching across the universe like a vast interconnected network, each one sealed except the gateway the architects had reopened. Analysis suggested the gateways had never been intended for travel alone. They were prison doors. Something unimaginably dangerous had once been locked outside the observable universe, and the architects, the civilization everyone now feared, had originally been its jailers. Whatever ancient threat had terrified even the architects was awakening. Once again, the galaxy faced a choice between surrendering to despair or standing together against impossible odds. Humanity remembered the lesson Nathan Hale had left behind. Heroes do not win because victory is guaranteed. They fight because some battles must be fought regardless of the outcome. Across thousands of worlds, millions volunteered for the Accord Defense Fleet. New recruits carried patches bearing a simple symbol, an empty soldier's helmet beneath a distant blue star. They called themselves Hale's Legion, not because they expected another legendary warrior to save them, but because they understood that the greatest strength of one human had never been extraordinary power. It had been the ability to inspire countless ordinary people to become extraordinary together. As the united fleets gathered before the silent gateway, the commanders looked upon the greatest armada ever assembled, stretching across millions of kilometers of space. No empire commanded it. No emperor ruled it. It sailed under no single flag. It belonged to every free civilization in the galaxy, and somewhere beyond the stars, whether alive, lost in time, or transformed into something history could no longer explain. The legend of one human soldier was still guiding them toward the final battle that would determine the fate of every living world.